end of the year 1952, London was met with abnormally cold weather. In order to stay warm, the residents of the city began burning large amounts of coal. The issue was, however, that they were not using high-quality coal. Instead, due to the state of the country post-war, people resorted to using cheap, low-grade coal, otherwise known as nutty slack. This coal, when burned, produced thick, dirty smoke. To make matters worse, factories and power stations were using the same method, resulting in soot and sulfur dioxide accumulating in the air. This combination of decisions led to what is now known as the Great Smog of London. The date was the 5th of December 1952. A weather phenomenon occurred, known as a temperature inversion. Normally, warm air rises and carries away pollution. However, in this scenario, a layer of warm air settled above the city, trapping the cold air, mixed with the smoke, chemicals, and fog, closer to the ground. As a result, there was no wind, no sunlight, and no possible way for the pollution to disperse. Naturally, the smog continued to thicken. Over the following days, the fog began to turn a yellowish-brown color as soot, sulfuric acid, and other compounds kept building up. The visibility was reducing further and further, to the point where in some locations, people could only see a few feet around them. This was alarming. Public transportation stopped, and even ambulances could no longer navigate the streets. The population was forced to walk with cloths on their face, carrying flashlights, in order to find their way home. In just a few days, the smog had entered buildings all around the densely populated city. Cracks, windows, and gaps in the doors allowed for the smog to infiltrate residences and other such buildings. Events at theaters and halls had no choice but to be cancelled. Schools closed and hospitals were overflowing with inpatients. Many were now beginning to suffer from respiratory issues. Authorities initially didn't understand the scale of the disaster. They estimated the deaths to be low, with a large part of the population expecting the smog to disappear in a couple of days. However, instead, it kept thickening, and people began to die in large numbers. This included in their homes, in hospitals, and even on the streets. Londoners were describing coughing up black mucus, struggling to breathe, and feeling like they were drowning, even though they were on land. Eventually, on the 9th of December, the smog began to lift as the weather changed and winds began to disperse the toxicity. With this rising of the smog, authorities were left shocked. The true number of losses came to light, estimating around 4,000 deaths. This number drastically rose a while later, tripling to at least 12,000 dead. To make matters worse, another 100,000 people were seriously ill. While it did come to an end, many tragically lost their lives to infections or pneumonia that was worsened by the filthy air. This tragedy triggered a strong response from the public, so the British government passed the Clean Air Act of 1956, limiting coal burning in urban areas alongside promoting smokeless fuels. This unfortunate event triggered the modern environmental regulation we now see in the UK. A great thing came out of such a tragic misfortune. What do you think of the event? Share your thoughts and be sure to check out our other history stories.